Everybody, welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. We're just going right into it today. I'm your host, Caleb.
Hi, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
Yeah, so
I
normally,
said with no enthusiasm whatsoever.
but you've been actually you're actually pretty awake today.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed so. But you also got sleep. Well, we got about the same amount of sleep because we did D&D last night,
Yep.
which I thought went well for the new chapter of this current arc.
God, it's frustrating that I can't talk about this.
Are you enjoying this new chapter?
Yes, I went and I did some research when we were done, and
You've
done
got some new
reading the book.
theories now.
I have a couple of theories.
Yeah, because I left them off with some hints about what's going on, and then we usually do like post game talk that's not recorded,
Mm-hmm.
and I joke that it's our Talking Dead of like The Walking Dead. Like we've done The Walking Dead, now we do The Talking Dead, except we don't record it, and so because then I might be giving away things because I also like to give a little insider baseball of what goes through my head as I'm coming up with the games when we do those talks without giving away spoilers. I do try to avoid that, but I do like to give a little insider baseball with it. Um, but yeah, what else have we been up to this week? We'll start with you.
This week went to work, did some stuff there, cause woohoo.
Yeah, everybody's working for the weekend.
Yeah. Went and I've been playing a bit more Cyberpunk. I have continued my listening. Essentially, what I'm doing now, since
Mhm.
I've basically done almost everything in the game, I'm just going back and doing cleanup for a lot of the little mini side missions. Working for the Night City Police Department, and they're like, "Hey, go clear out this area or stop this." And I'm like, "All right, cool. Any rules for that?" And they're like, "Nope." I'm like, "All right, this is on you.
Yep, you told me no
You
rules.
told me no rules." So, been slowly, I've cleared out one entire neighborhood. There is no crime in that neighborhood at all. uh Also have continued running the 2020.
2020, yeah, the 20. It feels weird because you want to give a more futuristic number, but that's not the name of it.
Yeah, in the far-flung future of 4 years ago. I was like, all right, so you guys have some options. You can go and you can go and rob the mob. You can go and deal with this young splinter cell of another gang,
Mm-hmm.
or you can go and look for blackmail on that politician lady who put a virus in your eye, Cosmo.
You got options.
You got options. So they went and they did their mission, and because this is one of the private games, and this one is in a much darker setting, I'm not going to talk about it any further than that.
Oh,
This is
okay.
one of the ones where I'm like, nope.
Gotcha. There's a little
But
bit
they
of a little
had
bit of
fun.
further lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so it's like, all right. Now, I've given them their first. I've decided I'm going to give them a little side quest they can do. Once again, issued by the NCPD. And it's like, hey, old boy is like, hey, by the way, I'm at a place called The Pit. If you guys just want to blow off some steam, it's pretty good for that. But be careful. There's been a cyber psycho sighting, so avoid that or don't. I'm not your dad.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like, I'm this. It's kind of what happened last night, where it's like, I'm gonna give you fair warning, but if you don't listen to my warning, that's not me. That's not on me.
It's like you're all adults. This will either go really well for you or really poorly, with no in between.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, I tried to play some First Descendant by myself. I managed to get 2 of the like 3 submissions done, but I just could not get that third one
Yeah.
because it's a defend this thing with its own health bar.
Yeah, we didn't really do anything Monday
Yeah,
without you.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Had to work that day.
You had to work. Work happens.
Oh, what? I think that's it.
Okay.
Tried to fight Radon a couple times. That didn't go so well because that fight is for real.
Use my PlayStation to play it.
I have my work schedule for next week. I'm checking like if
what days we can hang out. Yeah. Because right now, ideally, next week will be our Outlaws review. That's the ideal plan.
Wednesday and Friday.
Okay, so we've got 2 days that we can do it. Okay.
Yeah.
And it would basically be after I get off work for Wednesdays, and then, well, and Friday. It would be after I get off work, but before D&D.
Yeah. So probably.
Well, no D&D next week, so.
So probably Wednesday.
Probably Wednesday, and then
I think that's the only day.
Well, we'll probably do a little bit Friday before I go do what I want to do that week, because we're not playing our Grim Hollow game that week. I wanted to go out and do stuff that's local. It's like a once a month thing that happens, but also I have a friend who's doing a comedy show, and I want to go see them and support local comedy. Support your friends. Good friend things, right? But yeah, so this week, yeah, I beat Outlaw's main story, although I'm gonna 100% it on my own time. Maybe. I haven't decided if it's gonna be on my own time or if I'm gonna air it, like if I'm gonna do live stream or even just record it. Because there are some things like there are certain characters I haven't run into on the stream that I know are going to be important for the DLC coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll do DLC reviews as well when those come out, because they'll have story bits as well. Because right now we know 2 DLCs that are coming out. The first, and we know about them. We know what they're about. The first one is going to have Lando in it, and it's going to be about a high stakes sabacc tournament, but also something else going on in the background, which I think is going to connect to the fact that this game takes place between 5 and 6 during, like, after the War of the Bounty Hunters, because the War of the Bounty Hunters stuff is mentioned, and Han is already delivered to Jabba. So it's after War of the Bounty Hunters, probably before Crimson Reign, because it's War of the Bounty Hunters, Crimson Reign, and then Empire's End, right? I think that's the order of the 3 main big events. The ones involving Crimson Dawn.
Probably.
I think that's the order. So I'm thinking it's before Crimson Reign, but we don't have like a full confirmation of that. We know that it's after War of the Bounty Hunters, because a couple things from that are mentioned. Like they mentioned that Jabba's the only Hutt in charge of the cartel now.
Yeah.
They mentioned, which we know what happened to them. Vader went,
Hey Jabba, would you like a promotion?
Would you like to be the only Hutt left? We also know that, like I said, Han is already delivered to Jabba, so that's the whole plot of War of the Bounty Hunters, is who's gonna get Han and who's gonna take him to Jabba.
Yep.
Or if anybody's gonna take him to Jabba at all, because the other cartels were like, we hate Han's too. Han did not have. There's a reputation system in Outlaws, and I'm thinking, man,
How bad did he fuck up?
He lost all that reputation. I haven't even hit the lowest before. I've only gotten poor, which is the middle, which is like they don't care about you, but they also don't let you into their like you can't just walk into their territory freely.
Yeah.
Because they don't really like you, because they don't know you. But then good is like the next one, which is when you can start walking into their territories. You just, obviously, there's still restricted areas within their territories. So you still have to sneak around if you're going to go into those, even if you have excellent, which is the highest rank you can have, which is what I have for 3 out of the 4. but I'm also purposely trying to sink one of them for a trophy. But beyond that, haven't done much on the Witcher 3 play. Sorry.
Can't. I forget which Witcher game it is, but there's a great fucking. I won't spoil it, but other than like what the concept is,
Yeah.
it is Geralt deals with the banking system.
Oh, okay. And then I'm gonna start soon playing Dark Souls. That's probably gonna be something I get next paycheck. I'm probably gonna buy that next paycheck, so that way I know Zach is happy and ready for that. And I told him that you're gonna be our color commentary, like our lore color commentary as we play. And he was like, "Hell yeah, if Seth's in, then this is great." And he told me to say hi, by the way.
Oh.
Because he was streaming yesterday, and so I was talking to him while he was streaming. So he told me to say hi for you.
All right.
So yeah, I meant he technically I should have said it last night when we were, but
You know, it's all right. I will accept a late one rather than none at all.
And so, but yeah, so we got stuff going on with that, and that's stuff that's coming down the pipeline for the channel. Obviously, I've also been making sure to get all of the college football games that I want to for the channel this week, which are doing well on the channel. Like they're people are like, somebody commented while watching the stream for Outlaws yesterday. They were like, "Hey, I found the channel, the YouTube channel." Like they commented on the YouTube since I stream on there at the same time as on Twitch and Kick, and they were like, "Hey, we watched I found you from the EA college football simulations. Keep doing those." And I was like, "Yeah, I plan to. Yeah, welcome to the channel." Essentially is what I was like. So, yeah.
I need to go and brush up on my Dark Souls lore. That's what I heard from this conversation.
I thought you were like a Souls man. Well, I guess Bloodborne's really more your...
Don't call me that. I'm never accepting.
You're not a Soulsborne lore master?
I know a bit. I know enough to, like, if you ask about a certain thing, like, who they're related to, I might be able to help.
Okay. So you don't want the title yet.
Don't give that to me yet.
Okay. Fair enough. For now, you won't get it, but you're gonna get that when we start doing the recordings.
Like, oh man, I gotta explain what the first flame is.
To be fair, Zach also knows like a fair chunk, which is why he's probably why he's so excited about this. But because
thank God. The good news is you are going by release order, and that. Fortunately, for
although I guess
Dark Souls 1 and 3, those are in chronological order.
Yeah, because it's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like release order is chronological order for the most part.
Yeah.
With like, and I guess you can argue it still is because Bloodborne's in a different multiverse within.
And Bloodborne,
they're
are separate from Dark Souls.
They're in a different universe within the grander multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And then Zach talked to me out of Kingsfield because that was going to be next, actually. Because I was going to go back.
Zach was like, "Don't do that to yourself."
I was going to go back and do Kingsfield. And he was like, "Look, he may the creators may appreciate that, but they would also tell you, don't do it."
I will say this. One thing you are definitely going to get sick of by the time you eventually hit Elden Ring, you're gonna go through a lot of poison swamps.
I mean, I already got sick of that in Demon's Souls.
You have no idea how bad it's gonna get.
I'll be fine, I guess. Maybe. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've been up to this week. I guess we should jump, I guess, y'all are so excited. I mean, I know y'all are so excited to the point that I made a thread specifically for y'all for the Soulsborne.
I don't know where it went.
Yeah, I don't know where it went. I know it's here.
Did you?
Yeah, it's still here. No, it's still here. It's just nobody's talked in it in over a week. I'm the only one who said anything.
Oh no.
So it's still here. You just have to actually open it in the Discord, and then you can talk about it.
Yeah.
So start posting lore in there. No. Give me what I need to know before going in.
Oh boy.
Should I do a magic build? Should I cheese it? Should I cheese build?
You should do as you please.
Should I cheese build?
You should do as you please.
Or should I go no armor, club build?
No armor, only club.
Only club build. I feel like that's for the more experienced Soulsborne players.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's expert mode.
Yeah, it's not something even I bother doing. Because the point of a game is to have fun.
Wait, is that the point of Soulsborne games?
Look, you gotta go into a Soulsborne game with a certain mindset, okay?
Wait, we're having fun in those games?
I mean, for me, my regular life is pretty boring and there's not cool dragons to look at, so...
Which, by the way, I still never killed that dragon.
That's okay. You don't have to kill every dragon you come across.
Well, I do if I wanted that one person to live.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's not living. Damn.
Anyways, let's talk about Star Wars news this week.
Yay!
There's only one piece of news to talk about, but it's exciting news. So according to Natasha Lee Bordizzo, who is Sabine in live action, Ahsoka Season 2 should begin filming summer of next year. Which that sounds about right to me. Because we got Ahsoka last year?
Yeah.
Season 1. And then after that, they needed time to write up, like, the scripts for Season 2. They probably had a lot of it already written, but they probably had to rewrite with the case of Rey passing and figuring out how are we going to fit Balin in Season 2 still.
Yeah.
And also probably trying to recast him if they want.
Fuck about whatever, I should know his name. Thrawn.
Yeah, he doesn't care about Thrawn's goals.
Yeah, he's like, whatever Thrawn's up with is not something I care about.
Yeah. Sorry, let me...
Meanwhile, his apprentice, for lack of a better term, is like, and now I'm gonna go off and be a bandit queen.
Between New Mexico and San Diego State, we're somebody asking about football, since I do the football videos now. I'd have to say San Diego State just on gut. That's just like going full gut mode, right?
I don't know. I don't care.
I mean, I will be the first to tell you I am not an expert in college football. I just make fun simulation videos.
Now, Andrew would probably have a better clue.
Drew would probably be like all about this conversation.
Yeah.
We should have him guest on an episode.
I've thought about it before. Like, there are some games where I'm like, I feel like Andrew might actually enjoy this. I know he wouldn't enjoy the reading aspect.
No.
So
he would probably... I feel like Hunters would be something he'd pick up for a little bit and then probably drop it.
Yeah, I tried to get him to play a game of Hunters with me. It never happened.
He'd probably play a couple rounds, and then... Because he'd probably see similarities with Overwatch, and then...
Yeah.
Since I know Tori makes him play that more than...
Overwatch, Apex.
Yeah. Apex, though, he seems to genuinely enjoy it. Yeah, whereas Overwatch feels more like a Tori game that he plays because he loves Tori.
Yeah.
Which, as somebody who's married, like, I'm not married, but as some, I would imagine that's a decision you make about when you care about somebody. You go, you know what, this is quality time.
I feel like if
like that's their version.
Valley
Like that's their version of quality time.
Yeah. I feel like Tori would fucking love Stardew Valley if it wasn't 2D.
Yeah, because she likes that Dreamlight Valley, the Disney one, right? Which is basically the same concept. Although I don't know if she still plays it. I know.
I saw her playing it the other day. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, same concept, just with Disney characters and in 3D.
Yeah.
I mean, so she would probably like it. She would probably like Animal Crossing, for the same reasons. But y'all don't have switches over at that
Yeah.
house.
What do you mean? We can just go out into the yard and go.
No!
That's a stupid joke.
Nintendo Switches, I should say. Y'all don't have Nintendo Switches at that house.
Yeah, we don't.
Um,
Sadly.
Which is funny because y'all love Mario Party, but y'all can't ever play it because the only time you can play it is if Haley or myself bring our Switches.
Oh man. I like how both.
Which I don't know if Haley still has hers because
I
I can't remember if she's. I can't remember if she sold hers or not.
She might have. I'm not sure.
Anyways, you were saying.
Like we have, what do we have at our house? We've got Cards Against Humanity.
Which is fun. You got your PlayStation. You got the Xbox.
And
then they've got their they've got their PC builds that they've done. You're still on that Chromebook.
Mm-hmm. What? It's my loyal Chromebook that has helped me.
That is good for schoolwork, but not for playing games.
Yeah.
Except for Baldur's Gate, actually.
Except for Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate 1. Enhanced edition, though. So,
Yeah.
it runs.
Yeah.
But you had
You
to buy it
play-
through the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
Which, at first, they didn't let you. They were being so annoying about it.
Yeah. It runs 3 games on it that I can play. One of which I just use the website for primarily. It runs Baldur's Gate 1. It can run Among Us. And AI Dungeon.
Oh, which that one? I assume is the website one that you just go to the
Yeah.
website for, yeah.
But I have it on my computer in case like the website goes down.
Basically, any game you can get on the Google Play Store
Yeah.
is a playable game. Generally, as long as they've been converted to like run on PC as well, because they'd have to be PC playable as well. So you can play probably all the classic D&D games, because you could probably play Icewind Dale 1, not Icewind Dale 2. There's no enhanced edition for that one, unfortunately. That's one of the ones where it's the lost original coding situation. So they would have to build it from the ground up, sort of deal.
Yeah.
Unless they managed to do some backwards. I forget the term I'm looking for. But anyways, back to Ahsoka.
The news. It was pretty fun going through the first season of like Ahsoka and me and like Chris and Steve hanging out and talking about. I remember like seeing like a bunch of dead troopers, and I was like, there are Night Sisters here. Can they bring the dead? Oh fuck!
Immediately as you're asking the question, it's like, yes. In fact, that was our plan.
Like, I've seen and read them doing this before. Was that specific to just Merit? Okay, nope, it was not.
I'm actually really excited, though. Season 2's happening.
I want to see what happens, but at the same time, I'm also, like...
So this schedule also fits what we know about the shows coming forward for next year. Because we know Andor Season 2 is done. We know we're getting that next year. I don't know if there's another show that we're getting. I know we should... Mandalorian and Grogu's filming, right? So we should probably be getting that next year, probably like late next year as like a movie in theaters, right? Maybe. Or maybe they try to save it for 2025, who knows? It depends on if it's more important to get that out before Ahsoka Season 2 comes out.
Yeah.
That's the question, because I think they also want to do one more movie after that. That's going to be like the wrap up to the entire like story that they've been telling of the Mando era, right? Which includes Skeleton Crew as well, which we're getting at the end of this year. So there's a lot, but that's just good news. That's good news. That it's, hey, we're moving forward, and it's actual, like, this is actual confirmation because it's from an actor who would know, hey, my schedule says we're going to start filming soon. So versus like if some trade said, we heard rumors. This is actual confirmation, which is why we're talking about it. Because if they had just said, hey, we think it's going to start filming, then we wouldn't have talked about it. I try to avoid the not truly confirmed stuff. But that's it for news. So, and we got a double feature to talk about. So let's
which one you want to talk about first, man?
let's get into my hate for. You don't know why you went into that?
I said a sentence, and I know you understood it, but I have no idea where it came from.
Yeah. So spoiler warning. We're gonna talk about Chronicles of Corellia, Heir Apparent, which is a short story, and then we're gonna talk about the new High Republic Beware the Nameless book. So, I think we should talk about Chronicles of Corellia first, because that's also more on my mind.
Okay.
Because I finished reading it this morning.
I read it like the day after you said it to me, so.
Well, then it's further from your mind, which is why maybe we should. I think also it takes place before this.
Okay.
Based on what I can, like, put together. It just confirms more of my slander for Crick's Camerat. So the premise is that we go back to Corellia and we're following Crash, and this is after the Crash Landing comic, after she broke Crix out of Republic prison, and apparently they have been trying to send assassins after Marchion Rowe by sending like his inner circle like of like close nihil that are loyal to Crix, I guess.
Yeah.
To go.
Which is surprising that Crix has people.
Yeah, I was surprised that people are loyal to him. But it is not working.
Yeah.
In fact, Marchion sent a crate back, basically with a note going, "Haha, you suck, loser."
Told him to get good.
He told him to get good, yeah. With the body parts of the assassin. So
This is the 4th time this has happened, by the way.
Yeah. This is the first. Now, this is the first time with a note.
Yeah.
This is the first time with a note, but the 4th time sending back the bodies.
Yeah.
Can I just say Crix thinks he's smarter than he really is? Because I think this is all gonna blow up in his face.
Yeah.
Like he thinks that he is. So the main crux of what's going on is that Rue and Crash are kind of starting to fall out a little bit on their agreement of one, working with Crix, and 2, how to deal with the Marchion situation. But also, Crix is noticing that fracture and going, "Ha, I can play that," and I'm playing an idiot, so they think I'm an idiot. And I'm like, "No, Crix," like I'm reading this, I'm just like, "Crix, no, you are an idiot." Sorry. You aren't playing a fool, you are the fool. Like, I have hated this man for so long, and the more he appears, the more I feel validated for it. Which I think I remember. I think I remember you saying I was too harsh on him the first time.
Look, you can't fix stupid sometimes, okay?
This isn't even just stupid though. This is just he's an incel who's like.
A
delusional one, yeah,
lunatic.
Yeah, delusional one at that, yeah. Who's like, if I, and I'm giving him that incel voice, if I kill Lula, Zine will love me.
It's not how. Why would that?
And if Zine doesn't love me, then she's not worth it.
Crix is way past this point. It's like
there's no return. There's no redemption for Crix.
This guy.
I honestly feel for Rue. I honestly want Rue to go through. I want Rue to go through. I want Rue to go through with it so badly. Is it bad? I want Rue to go through with it. When Crash stopped Rue from crushing Crix's ribs, I was just like, no, don't stop Rue. Let Rue go through with this. Rue is just saving you the future problems that Crix will cause.
Rue, why did I agree to start working with?
Because he trusts in Crash, and Crash hasn't really steered him wrong. But, like, you know, it's
Not Crix. Crash, what part of just go in there and shoot him did you not understand?
I also think
back in the day?
at this point Crash should stop trusting in Crix's plans.
Yeah.
One, Crash is older than Crix.
Mm-hmm.
Something to acknowledge here. Crash is the oldest in the room, so Crash should really be the one coming up with ideas, because she probably has more for. And in fact, actually, this one more recent one is kind of a blend of her idea and Crix's, but also which is go into the occlusion zone by getting the codes to do so.
Yeah.
The Crix part of the plan is how are we gonna get the codes. But real, and also Crix almost fucks up that. Honestly, Crix is lucky that it worked what he did.
Yeah.
Cause so they find an old enemy of Crix that Crix has basically studied and learned the whereabouts of this rival and knows his patterns, which is he loves Sabacc and loves gambling, and so
he's gonna go. He's gonna to this place at this time.
Yeah, to do that. So Crix is like, we'll kidnap him then. And so they, Crix and Rue go on this mission by themselves, which is awful on Crash's part. I don't know what you expected to happen by sending those two alone.
It's one of the ones where I'm like, this seems like a poor technical decision.
At least Crash had the foresight to be like, I'm not sending Crix alone.
Yeah.
At least Crash was like, I don't trust Crix as far as I can throw him in that regard. Which she could probably actually toss him pretty far, actually. Yeah. But, no, so at least she's smart in that regard.
Yeah. I'm like...
But Rue was not the choice, especially when just a minute ago Rue tried to kill Crix.
Yeah, I'm like, don't you have a crew of people who you could send? Literally anyone else would be better.
I think sending Rue was because she knew that if Crix's plan for getting the information didn't work, Rue could do his little scary eye trick, which is what Rue almost does, but then Crix fucks it up.
Yep.
Which is why I'm like, Crix, you almost... And it's for the dumbest reason, too. Crix is like, I'm in charge of the operation. It's my job. The more I do it, I feel like it's right for Crix's voice. Just saying. But yeah, no, I hate this man. He is my Drake. I hate the way he walks. I hate the way he talks. I hate the way he...
I think the difference from our perspective is you're leaning more toward hatred, whereas I'm like, oh.
I don't feel bad for him either.
No. I'm like, you know that feeling where you're like, you need to put this thing down?
Well, that's hatred still. I want to put him down. I want to put him down.
I think that you're just more vocal about it.
I want to put him down too. I think Rue should have finished the job. In fact, Rue should have done it after the interrogation was done, and put him into that bottomless pit too.
The thing about it, I'm like, Criggs, you are about as useful as a stop sign sometimes.
But yeah, so they bring the rival to this abandoned part of town that everybody thinks is haunted after some fires years ago.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, nobody comes out here because they think it's haunted. So
yeah, Rue's like, yeah, don't worry about it. No one's gonna. If they hear screams, they'll just assume it's the ghost.
Yeah. So Crix's plan is to basically just do full on torture.
Yeah.
And does the Reservoir Dogs knife scene essentially.
And I'm like, well, this is not gonna get us very far.
Whereas Rue's like, I'm gonna do the eye thing, and then I told y'all what happened. Yeah. Crix ruins it, and then somehow the torture works.
Somehow.
After that, and then Rue straight up does the most wild thing, and just picks up Crix is gonna he was gonna kill him himself, wasn't he? But also the prisoner was gonna go after Crix.
Yeah.
But before that could happen, Rue just goes, force pick up. Force toss into the pit. Done.
All right, let's go. We got what we needed.
And it's like, and we don't need to tell Crash what happened.
Yeah. And Crix is like, yeah, I can use this. And I'm like,
Yeah, this is how you die.
why would you even think that? That would...
No, I think Crix, like I said, I think Crix is overestimating how smart he is.
I'm like...
Crix thinks he's playing 4D chess, when in reality, he's not even playing checkers. He's playing marbles without all the marbles.
I'm like, the reason why I'm thinking this is like, Crix doesn't know this about Rue, but Crash does.
Rue was already like this before.
Rue was like this before Crix met him, and Crash knows that. She's seen him blow up warehouses and kill Nihil by the handful.
Yeah, which is why Crix is totally underestimating this situation.
He's like, this stupid kid with the weird void eyes. Yeah, I got him in the bag with this blackmail.
I also think his Jedi hatred is blinding him a bit on that situation as well.
Yeah.
Because he thinks, oh, Rue is just another goody two-shoes Jedi.
And it's like, you could not be wrong.
You could not be more wrong.
And he's like, yeah, he puts on the mask and he gets a little scary sometimes.
It's like,
It's like, you have no idea.
You do not know who you are messing with.
Like, do you know how many times Crash has had to fucking talk him out of just not going in?
So I'm curious to see how this goes, because I think Crix is gonna die. I think Rue's gonna kill him.
I both am and I'm not.
I think also Crash is gonna allow it. I think there's gonna be a certain point where Crix just fucks up so badly that there's no stopping what Rue's gonna do to him.
Oh yeah, the 4 assassins at this point weren't enough. But that's not necessarily on Crix. He didn't...
Like, he is correct in saying, it's not my fault they failed. They died because they sucked at the job. And he is technically right there.
It's like, you're technically right.
But also, you sent them. You assumed that they had the skills to do this. So, this is also on you partially. Because you misjudged. Also, now Markion knows you're out here.
Yep.
Which was not an assumption that could have been made before.
So that card is off the table.
Yeah, so now the card of surprise is not one they can use anymore.
Yep. Admittedly, if it's just going to be Crix, Crash, and Rue going in, which is hilarious.
It's still a small team, and a little bit makes it easier to not get caught, if that's where you're going.
Not
where are you going?
I was like, yeah, it's a very dumb idea, but I do love the idea of Markion struggling to fight these 3 kids.
We say kids loosely. They are adults at this point, for the most part. They're just like young adults, is all. It's hard to forget that. Or easy to forget that, I should say. But I liked it. Alyssa Wong, once again, knocking it out of the park with their writing. Good, strong 8 out of 10 for me.
I'll give it that.
I need more of the Chronicles of Corellia. I'm excited to see where this little series goes.
I like Crash and Rue. I don't like Crix very much.
Yeah, no. I'm excited. I like to hate Crix. I should say I think Crix is a well-written character. I should preface that. I think Crix is well-written, and I think that's why I hate Crix so much, is that he is well-written to be hateable. And I think that's what I should clarify. Like, I don't think Crix is poorly written, and that's not why I hate him. I hate him because he's written well enough to be hated. I don't know if that's, or if you would agree with that statement, that he's, like, well written to be dislikable.
He is, but I'm also of the opinion of, like, I think this character has overstayed their welcome, you know?
Like, you think they should have died at Starlight Beacon?
Yes, a long time ago.
Like, the fight between him and Lula should have been the end of that.
Yeah, even that. Or, like, one of the dog fights just that he's been in, somehow he's still alive.
He is,
because he sucks as a leader.
You know how I said there's that one character in X-Files that just keeps coming back?
Yeah.
Alex Krycek. Mm-hmm. He is the Alex Krycek of the High Republic. He just keeps coming back, and you're like, how is this man still alive? He has screwed over so many people who rightfully should have killed him by now. Yet somehow this man is still alive. He is the Alex Krycek of Star Wars.
So, hopefully, the plot will keep him alive for a reason that will justify it to me later on. I'll give it a pass this time because
I think right now
what happens because I think it's set up.
I think they're using him as the, hey, we needed some way for Crash and Rue to be able to go through the wall.
To cross through.
Yeah. Because that's why I also think it's a little bit before this, before the book, because it's definitely before Eye of Darkness, I guess, because Eye of Darkness, Avar figures out how to cross by the end of that. Is it Eye of Darkness or is it Defy the Storm?
It's one of them.
Yeah.
I think it's Defy the Storm.
Yeah, I think... Well, Avar figures out in Eye of Darkness, but Defy the Storm, everybody figured... Like, they really start figuring out how to cross. So it's got to be at least before Defy the Storm. And this is, like, after Defy the Storm, I think. But before Temptation and the Force. Because the Nihil and the Republic aren't on their peace treaty yet.
Yeah. Well, the peace treaty still hasn't.
But you know what I mean. But they're not
at that weird stage where it's like, maybe.
Yeah, where Markion's shown up in person and gone, hey, actually, you know, I'm calling a truce. Can we do a timeout? Timeout.
Hold up. I don't know what to do with this blight shit.
But beware the Nameless. Let's talk about that now.
We're introduced to Zinni, Jamil, and Churro.
Yeah. I like the new Greylarks in this. I like both the sisters. They both bring something.
Yeah, Zinni and Lexi, I think.
Yeah, Lexi. Zinni is a great for the... So Zinni is our main character one, who is looking for her sister Lexi. Let's give, I guess, the basic premise. So we're continuing with following... I forgot their names now.
Ram, Tep Tep.
Yeah, Ram, Tep Tep, and well, Ram's not really in this that much.
He's like the first and last.
He's the bookends of this. He is the reason the plot happens.
Yep.
Because Ram basically hears about. He gets a mission from the Jedi to go do a rescue relief mission. Because there are some Nameless sightings on a planet that the Republic wants to be good with still. Out in the outer, like that's near the occlusion zone. And so Ram takes the ship that we got in the last book and
heads on to Palagasol is a place that they're going to go, but they intend to head to Minos 3.
Yeah, they intend to go to Minos 3. We also get the introduction of Churro the Hutt. He's actually the first chapter. It really is his story.
Yeah. Churro is a Hutt that would really just like to.
He just wants to
hang out in the garden and.
He just wants to be a biologist.
Yeah.
Let this man cook.
Yeah.
Let him be a biologist. But his Hutt family's like, no, we're criminals.
We're hardcore criminals. You need to quit loving on nature and shit and get into the.
You need to get into the program.
Yeah.
You get with the program or you die. Essentially.
Yeah. And he's like, but I like my greenhouse though.
And so his sister is leading a mission to go find a Nihil weapon to use against the Jedi because the Hutts are like, we also hate the Jedi, so it'd be great for us to have that. And so they go to Minos 3, right? And they pull off a heist where Churro actually manages to. He actually does a good job. One, he saves the prisoners on Minos 3, the people that Rams and them are on their way to save. And then two, he does get the egg, which at the time he thinks is just a jewel of some sort.
Yeah, I got that big fucking crystal you wanted.
Yeah, big crystal.
That's not what he says.
But he's like, I got the weapon.
Yep, got it.
But unfortunately, the Nihil are there because they've taken over and basically start shooting at them as they're trying to fly away. And so his sister, in a very rare selfless act, is like, hey, into the escape pod with you, or in the secondary ship, in the smaller ship, into the smaller ship with you, fly away, take the weapon with you, because we don't want to chance them getting it, but also get home.
Yep.
And if you don't, I'll find you.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. And so Churro ends up on Pelagoso because of that. And so almost off. So I started to. I was thinking of such a weird thing. What if they had raised a Nameless to be friends with them? Like, I was so close to thinking that with like, oh, we got an egg from the start and now we've got one. And then that would have been funny to me. But we don't go that route.
Yeah.
The book goes definitely in the... It actually... this book is really dark. A lot of... Man, this is once again, these are the junior novels.
Yeah.
These are for middle age. Like middle school grade. Like middle grade ages. I want to highlight that because it's just like, this is pretty good for that. We've talked about how these books are like the middle grade junior novels are actually pretty good, but like they just continue to hit like that. Like you're just like, oh, this could almost be like just regular adult like novel, like if it was just longer. That's really the only thing that doesn't make it a novel is word count. Word and page count. Also, we get cool drawings. We get pictures. We don't ever see the adult Jedi, by the way, in those pictures, even though we have scenes with that adult Jedi, and that's what we get depicted, but we don't see them. And I'm just like, oh, I wanted to see what she looked like. Oh, well.
And they're gone.
And they're dead. Because, so our main kid characters, Tep Tep, Jamil, who's a human character that's introduced, Kildo, who's from the last book along with Tep Tep, and Zenny, Greylark, they are stowaways on Ram's ship.
Yep.
Mostly by accident. To be fair, they did not know a mission was about to happen.
Well, Jamil isn't supposed to be there.
Zenny also. Zenny was the only one who purposefully...
Yeah. Jamil and Zenny are not supposed to be there. Jamil kind of wandered in.
Yeah. Well, Jamil was looking for... Jamil was with Tep Tep. Or Kildo was with Kildo looking for Tep Tep. Yeah? Yeah.
Jamil just goes in there because
no, Jamil was
having a shitty day.
Well, Jamil was looking for Tep Tep.
Why?
Because he's friends with Tep Tep.
Oh.
You forgot that, huh?
Yeah, I forgot that. Which is gonna make...
Yeah, because he's friends with Tep Tep. Because
he's friends with Tep Tep because
they're both younglings.
Yeah.
And Jamil's whole arc is wanting to be a Padawan.
Yeah.
Because he's a little older for a youngling. And he's like, I should be a Padawan by now. Everybody else has graduated to Padawan and gotten a master at this point. Why haven't I? And so he kind of feels a little insignificant from that.
Yeah.
But he's with Kildo because Kildo walks him into there going, oh, I think Tep Tep's going to be here. Yeah, you forgot that, huh? Because Kildo's like, oh, don't worry about that. You think I'm a failure? I'm older than you, and I'm not a Padawan yet. And he's like, well, no, because Tep Tep told me about the cool things y'all have done. So I guess not. And Kildo's like, see, it's okay. It still bothers Jamil until the end of the book.
Yeah.
It's his journey for this book. That's his character arc.
Admittedly, he's like, I want to go on a mission, see some excitement. Maybe that'll help. Admittedly, going on perhaps
a mission like this is not exactly what he had in mind.
There was a skull on that mission bar, and he was like, I got it.
I actually like all the character arcs each of the main characters go on.
They go through pretty good ones.
Churros is a self-acceptance journey. That it's one of like, hey, don't be afraid to just be who you are. Because that's Churro, like, Churro's whole thing is struggling with his identity of being a Hutt, but also a Hutt who doesn't want to be a crime lord.
Yep.
Zenny's is learning to look at the bigger picture and care about others besides just her family, sort of, like, and realizing that she can trust other people, because, like, she really just trusts Lexi,
Yeah.
and is only on this mission purely to find her sister. But then she eventually learns, oh, I have friends that actually want to help me. I don't have to do this by myself. And she even learns to trust Churro, who she's initially so hostile to.
What Zenny learns is compassion
Yeah,
and patience.
Compassion and patience, yeah.
Admittedly, a bit of that is thrown under readjusted to be like, no, not
You don't have to be, like, you
all
can...
the time.
Yeah,
because of another character.
Yeah, like, it's a case of, as long as you... It's more of a trust your gut sort of thing, but also, like, at the same time give people a chance to prove that they're better than your initial, like... But if they continue to show that, hey, something's off, then go trust your instincts is essentially... Like, there's a happy medium ground, like, middle ground with that lesson.
Yeah.
It doesn't go, oh, just trust everybody. No, it's like, step back. It's fine to have reservations as long as you're not an asshole about it, essentially.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, there's the bounty hunter character that wants to be a Nihil so badly. Hayes.
Hayes Drillick.
Yeah, the shark lady.
They get it bad.
I do actually kind of feel bad for her.
Yeah, I'm like... Fuck.
Because she actually had a compelling backstory of why she's involved with this.
She had a good reason, and I think it's one of the...
But she also didn't want... There was no reasoning with her, which is why she gets what she gets. Because she, like, they gave her a shot. They were like, hey, we understand the Nihil hurt people, and we understand hurt people, and it's a cycle. You want to break that cycle? And Hayes is like, nah. Essentially. And so they're like, well, we tried. It's a different shark race, though, than the one in Clone Wars. Because they mentioned they mentioned the major difference, which is that this one, there's a couple differences. One, this one is lesser known throughout the galaxy, because they're pretty much almost extinct.
Yeah.
Which is part of the interesting backstory of why she joined the Nihil, because her family got lost in that situation. And then, secondly, they can chew through pretty much any material. Like, their teeth, like, it just takes some time. Their teeth are just that sharp. But people don't know that because...
There's not that many left.
Yeah. And so, that's how she escapes near the end of the book and then dies to the Nameless. Because we continue to learn about the idea that the Nameless are starting to get... Which is something we've talked about, which is that it's starting to affect the Force in general.
Yep.
Not just Force users. Like the Jedi.
Yeah.
It's just affecting anything that the Force is connected to. It's just a little harder for it to, like... It takes longer, I should say. It takes longer to affect that. And that's also connected to the Blight situation going on, because the Blight is also a grander part of that, too. Of, like, just affecting anything that the Force is involved with, which, by the way, is everything.
Mm-hmm.
The Force is connected to everything, and therefore the Nameless are eventually just going to consume everything.
Yeah. You took a species out of its native habitat, and now it's doing the thing that invasive species do.
But it's also being experimented on to be more powerful like this, because that's also kind of the whole thing that
Niv Drendel is about.
Yeah, Niv's been doing, is trying to expand what they do.
Yeah.
And which is why he wants these so badly, specifically the ones in this book too.
Yep.
Because Niv is meanwhile attacking -3.
Yeah, that's why the Jedi get sent there.
Yeah, because Niv is actively there.
And the reason why.
But he didn't put the Nameless there. He put him on Palagostal.
Yeah. And the reason why he is attacking -3 is because
he needs more of that.
He needs more beauty cream.
Yeah, he needs more beauty cream from the last book because of the ram and them fucking up that for him.
And they're like, well, why would he? They're like, we sell like jirashi, which is like a wheat or a wine.
It's essentially the idea is that they have parts of the like they have like ingredients that are necessary to create the cream,
and that's why he's attacking.
And so, yeah, and of course, like we mentioned, when that in that book, it's used to make the Nameless a little bit more effective, essentially. But it also, in turn, makes them look more monstrous and more skeletal and more like they're hungry all the time, like they haven't eaten. Because that's something we've noticed with Phase 3 is that the Nameless look more and more starved.
Yeah.
Even though they are eating so much Force sensitives and Force users, and so it's just like they're eating more, but they're hungrier.
Yeah, and because they're from Planet X, right?
Yep.
Planet X is chock full of Force energy, but not the rest of the galaxy.
And on top of that, you had they weren't the top predator either.
Yeah.
You had the real apex predator that kept the Nameless numbers in line and kept it from just taking over their environment.
But now that they're out and about with the rest of the galaxy, it's a problem.
Yeah. And so there's some interesting things going on here. And yeah, so they do eventually find on Palgosal. We're kind of speed running this.
Turtles.
Oh yeah, the
turtles.
Cool. I like the turtles. They're just giant turtles with that are mixed with like almost like a what's the picture? I need to find the picture. It's a pretty cool picture we get for them because we get the moment when they're sliding with them because they just slide on their bellies. It's kind of like a rhino meta turtle.
Yeah.
But like a friendly rhino, one that wouldn't just attack you for no reason, which real rhinos would absolutely wreck your day. But yeah, I like the drawings in these. They really add to like, oh, now we can see what Jamil looks like and not just picture it like. And so, but yeah, the Jedi so basically they get a distress beacon because Churro sets just. Churro reignites a distress beacon that was already like there, but he just makes it louder. And so they're like, hey, that's a Republic Defense Coalition distress beacon, and Lexi was part of the Republic Defense Coalition teams.
So let's go check this out.
Because that's why Zenny's here. And the adults in Ram are like, well, we're on our way to -3, but I guess we can split the party.
Yeah. And
so we send the kids and one adult Jedi and one adult Defense Coalition member. And so the Defense Coalition member makes it out, by the way. But the Jedi does not. Jedi gets turned. They get
way to go, Welga.
Gets husked. There is another, and then another Jedi also bites it in this one too, which is not truly from husking, but we know it's from like the effects of the Nameless, but it's a new effect that's probably connected to the Blight more than it is the Nameless, because that Jedi goes, oh, this isn't the Nameless.
We know what that feels like. This doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, because Lexi is taking care of him because she's one of the survivors that was with the Defense Coalition at the time.
They have been stuck in a bunker for like
a week, about
to 2 weeks.
Yeah. And it was locked. It was shot. The locks were shot by the Nihil because they were like, oh, we can shoot the locks out from the outside and just melt it, and so they can't get out.
Yep.
And they'll just starve down there because the Nihil are assholes.
Yep. Chalk another one up on the scoreboard. Nihil are assholes. 648.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like this book though. It's a lot of fun, and they do save everybody except for like I said, those two. They actually come up. Churro gets his little because Churro has a double lesson. His is also like being like not being a coward, and it's the learning of the normal lesson of fear is not a bad thing. It's how you react to it that makes the kind of person that you are. Do you still try to face it, or do you run away? and that's really the lesson. And it's one that Kildo also teaches Jamil, because he's like, oh, fear is just a fence, and then it's something like that. He's like, it's a wall that you jump over.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a bad thing. Everybody has it. It's, you got to jump over it, and if you can do that, then that decides the person that you are. Churro kind of has that moment because he's worrying throughout the whole book that everybody's going to find out, oh shit, he has a nameless egg, and he's been lying to them the whole time because he has that. And why he's here on like that he's here, like that his family is a criminal syndicate who wants to use this against the Jedi.
Which
he doesn't know it's a nameless egg yet.
He doesn't know it's a nameless egg, but I'm pretty sure they already figured out about the criminal syndicate stuff.
But he is like, he's still like, he doesn't acknowledge that they know that because he still thinks, oh, they're none the wiser. But Zinni's kind of like calling him out on it at the same time.
All of them are like, at the end, he's like, by the way, my family does crime stuff, and everyone basically goes, yeah, we know.
Yeah, that didn't stop us from liking you. You're a good person.
Yeah.
Like, just because what your family does doesn't decide what you are. And because there's a moment where with what was her name? The shark. I said it earlier. Hayes. So Hayes sets up a very interesting, a very smart trap. The trap was actually pretty, like, it was a good idea.
Except it doesn't work because then he's like, this is
sus.
This is the shadiest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Also, the story doesn't quite add up based on information they had picked up earlier.
Yeah.
Because they had information about the attack based on a hollow transmission that didn't quite entirely get sent out. And the story she gives doesn't match that.
Yeah.
Which is how, like, everybody kind of puts two and two together.
And later on, more evidence that incriminates her is what Churro finds her fucking candy wrappers.
But that's after he's ran away.
Yeah.
Because he runs away because she mentions the whole, hey, you have a bounty on you.
Yeah.
Which is the big alarm bell for Zinni, and also the Republic Defense Coalition member. Because they're like, how would you know that? Because that was only sent out, like, in the past couple days.
Yeah.
And you've been here for a week.
Your story's not adding up.
And because she said that the comms have been out for a week. All communications in and out have been off.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, but one, we got a distress signal.
Like yesterday.
Two, that bounty was like 2 days ago. But then you say that the comms have been out for a week. That doesn't...
Yeah, that math doesn't math.
But by the time they reveal that they know that, Churro ran away thinking, oh, they're going to hate me now.
Yeah.
But he actually does a smart thing. While running away, he's like, I'm still going to try to help them.
Yeah.
So he runs to the actual beacon location. So, and he actually powers it up, and
he goes and he fixes that.
Now what's funny to me is, what was it we had just read, and you were like, oh, they sent an alert out to everybody. What was it we like last week? We had talked about something last week, and you were like, oh, they sent a wide beacon to, like, leaving all the comms open to everybody. Like, it was like an open comms channel. I forget what we were talking about, but as you mentioned that, I was like, oh, he's gonna find this hilarious.
Yeah. I'm like, everyone he basically directly calls them, and it's like...
Yeah, because Churro basically does an open channel and goes, hey, Ram, I know you don't know who I am, but I'm friends with your friends, and we're in trouble, and the Nameless are here. Can you come pick us up? And then...
He sends the collective equivalent of, Mom, I need you to pick me up right now.
But it's because it's on the open comms. The Hutts know about this. The Nihil know about this.
Everyone knows.
And Ram looks at this, and one of the, was it Greylark? Senator Greylark is like, did he send this on an open channel?
He goes, oh, fuck.
Ram's like, fuck, we need to get there now. And this is like after they finished, like, they kicked Niv's ass, and he ran off like the coward he is.
Niv never shows up in the story.
He like yeah, but we know like.
But like on Mino's thing,
That's what I'm saying.
he
Ram,
gets-
like we know that these events happen
Yeah.
because Ram goes like,
because Ram is like, I hate that guy so much.
I can't believe I had to run into him again, only to not catch him again.
Yeah. Oh God, is Niv Ram's Baron Vice?
Maybe.
Just not on like a deep, just not quite on that deep level yet.
But yeah, so Ram like basically keeping the joke of, hey mom, can you come pick me up, turns the minivan back around and goes, we need to go.
Yeah.
Basically hard turn, turns the minivan to go pick up his kids
Yeah.
from soccer.
Ram is officially accepted his like position as team mom. He's like, no, those are my kids.
I also like the Lexi. I like the relationship between Zinni and her mom.
Yeah.
I'm like
the Greylarks with that.
with an actual healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a little bit of like still some like normal daughter mother angst there.
Yeah.
Like it's normal levels.
Normal levels, not. God.
It's where it's the Zinni going, you taught me to act like this, and Senator Greylark going, I sure did. You know what?
Yeah, fuck, I did.
I gotta give you that. I'm gonna smile, but also publicly call you out for it. But in reality, I'm proud of you for taking my lessons to heart. It's that moment when she's like, "You said we should be doing that, so that's why I snuck on to help find our sister."
That's why I did that.
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, you're using my own logic against me, so."
Fine.
I hope their dad is still around somewhere too, because
Yeah.
they imply that he might still be alive too. Like they're like
God,
he's
I
probably
hope
killed.
so.
Because they're like he probably was killed in action with Nihil, but they never confirm that.
Mhm.
And in fact, because Lexi brings up the idea of looking for Dad, and Zinni doesn't like shoot that down, which was like, oh, that means that he might still be alive.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, oh, he's dead, right? Because that's how Zinni and Senator Greylark talk about it at
Yeah,
first.
that's just what happens when you're a man and your last name is Greylark.
Like at first
The
they
galaxy conspires to kill you.
Like at first they talk about him as if he's dead,
Yeah.
and then Lexi is like, "Oh, we'll find him too," and I'm like, "Wait, so is he also just missing? I thought he was dead." And so I guess that confirms that it's just more of a they think he's dead.
Yeah. They're hoping he's just missing, but they're not denying that him being
The
dead is a
possibility of it,
possibility.
yeah, because he's in the occlusion zone. I think is the big. I think that was the big thing is they were like, "Oh, he's actually in the occlusion zone, on the other side of the
It's
wall."
hard to make a phone call.
Yeah.
You cannot phone a friend in the occlusion zone.
But yeah, so so the kids managed to tie up the two adult Nameless that have been attacking Pelagossil, because that was like Niv's whole thing. He set up two there, and then was trying to get the egg from Minos.
Yeah.
But that didn't work out
Because
because the Huts kind of screwed him over on that. Hayes, so they bring the adult ones onto the ship, and you're like, oh, okay, so this is the end of the book. No, we got one more. Like, we thought that was the third act, but we have a third act part 2. Because Hayes breaks out from the prison that Ram puts her in, and Ram is like, wait, she can shoot through that. Fuck! Because the cameras go down. Or, yeah, no, the cameras go down, right? Or something happens. I can't remember specifically what, like, he gets some sort of realization that Hayes is out.
Yeah.
And so the plan becomes, so Hayes is like, oh, I'm going to take the egg and dip out,
bail.
and also free the adult Nameless to go kill these people.
Yep.
Nope. She immediately gets husked.
Yep.
Tep Tep, lover of animals.
I'm like, maybe Hayes isn't so
Yeah,
bad as...
because the egg hatches during this moment too. So it's the newborn one that kills Hayes.
Yeah. I'm like, seeing that, I'm like, all right. While I dislike the Nameless because I understand what they are.
Yeah, that was a bit much for Hayes.
I'm like, God, Damn, why did you do this to her?
Zoraida, why did you do this?
Zoraida must have heard me a while back being like, sometimes kids gotta die, and she was like, alright.
She was like, you know what, Seth, you're right. Zoraida was like, let's kill these kids. Let's go. Because what, Hayes is like 14? 16, yeah. And then like Zinni is 12 because they confirmed that. And so I think most of our characters are between 12 and 16 in this book for the main characters. And so it's just like, ooh, okay. But Tep comes in because animal of lovers that she is. She's like, I can like get the Nameless to she wants to try to get the Nameless to calm down. She wants a pet Nameless.
Well, we saw how that worked out, didn't we?
She passed out. But also that's more because Ram stopped the plan before it could get too dangerous. Ram's like, nah, we're knocking her out, and we're knocking out the Nameless as well, because they find out that there's chemicals that they can shoot into the ship that... it's like a mixture of the Bacta that's on the ship, because since it's a healing ship. Was it Zinni, or...
It's Churro.
Churro. Oh, yeah, Churro's like, hey, these certain chemicals blend a certain way.
Is like, hey, first thing that Ram does is he's like, what we're going to do is we're going to make everything as cold as possible. And when that starts to work, but they're like, okay, we still need to get them into a different area, he starts, like, closing off things so they'll head...
But unfortunately, by then, Tep's already...
Yeah. Tep is KO'd by that point. And it's like, alright, and now what? And Churro's like, have you considered
knockout gas? Have you considered knockout gas? And Ram's like, but we don't have that. And Churro's like, well, these certain chemicals...
Oh, just pour out these 3, and you should be good.
Yeah, and they won't. They're harmless if you do them at the right levels.
Yeah.
Because at first they're like, that would kill her, and she's like, not at this level.
Tep got yanked out before the plan of just freeze them.
Yeah, so they managed to do it. I kind of like that there was like a one more like, oh, now we got our third act. Also gave Ram a little bit more screen time.
Yep.
Because I like Ram. Hopefully Ram's growing on you, because I know you initially hated him. Or didn't like him, I should say. Hate's a strong word.
You may have invented the word wizard, Ram, but you're not that bad. You didn't invent the word wizard, but you know what I mean. He started
making it popular vernacular.
I forgive you, Ram Chummer. For a thing that already existed that wasn't your fault.
Yeah, you just made it popular to say.
Yeah.
I also like Churro's ending, so Churro gets to meet with his sister on Coruscant because the Greylarks help him. Because Zinni is now, like, his BFF.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the sister's like, hey... Actually, fortunately, because I think...
It's fortunate.
Because I think... I agree with Zinni that this was a case of your sister... Like, Churro's sister, while it seems harsh what she did on the outset, when you sit down and think about it, she freed him, essentially.
Yeah. She's like, hey, I know you don't want to do crime shit. This is your chance to not do crime shit ever again.
Yeah. We can basically claim that you're dead, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, sure, the public broadcast, but we can say, like, you died after that.
Yeah, she's basically like, you're going to be missing. People will probably think you just got killed.
And as long as you don't return to Hut space, it's not a big deal.
Should be good. Also, here's your cut and the ship.
Yeah, so you got money in a ship to make a life for yourself.
It's been scrubbed clean. You got options.
You get to rename it.
And they name it the Lucky Turtle.
Yeah. So, like, at first, Churro's heartbroken. Yeah. But then Zinni explains, like, no, this is her way of, like, showing that she does care about you, Churro. Like, your sister does care about you. It's just the Hut way of showing it.
Yeah.
Like, this is their way. Like, it's... You get to do what you want, and it's like, sure, you don't get to ever come back home. But was that really home? Because, like, did it feel like home? Or did it just feel like, oh, you had family by name there?
Yeah.
And Churro kind of comes to the realization that she's right, and that, hey, this is a chance to restart. So, Zinni and Churro are going to go on adventures on the Lucky Turtle.
Ooh. Yeah.
I like the book overall. I would give this another 8. I think this was a strong book. This was a strong kids book.
Well, because you made me cry a little bit, Zoraida Cordova, I am going to give you a 9.
That is, I almost gave it a 9. I almost considered it. It's a really good book.
You got me. You comboed me with Tep Tep almost dying and getting better, and then Churro getting free of his crime family.
It's a really good book. It's a really good. Once again, like, it's this, and then it's the kids' books and the manga that are really underrated and being skipped over and missed on. And I understand, like, people can't read every book, and that's why we make these videos, so we can talk about it, so that way people who can't get the books still know what's going on and can enjoy and still experience the stories in some way.
You talk about it loudly, and I talk about it at a semi-reasonable volume.
But I think it's, like, we do this so that way people know.
Yeah, these exist, and they're good.
Yeah. And it's a way to, like, for people who can't afford every book.
Except for that one that we can't remember that's really important.
I might have to reread it just to see if my opinion's changed, but I know which one you're talking about. So, yeah. That's it for this week.
Yeah.
Next week we sort of have a triple feature, maybe? Perhaps. Because a couple new comics came out, as well as Outlaws that we want to talk about. So, depending on if you finish at least the story of Outlaws, I don't care if you finish the game as a whole, just the story at least.
I might have to do what I did for our, for
Survivor, you just watched cutscenes.
Which I watched the cutscenes.
But at the very least, I want you to get your hands on it like we did for Survivor.
At least through the first level.
That way you can get a chance to be like, oh, this is what the gameplay's like.
Yeah. Which,
honestly, that tutorial is not enough to get the true idea of the gameplay, I think, in this one. But it'll give you an idea. The story's not that long. I'd say it's like 20, 30 hours, which isn't bad. I mean, that's good amount for a campaign. And then, of course, because I beat it in 40. But I also got distracted. I kept doing side things. And I'm going to go back to doing side things. But we got that, and then we got the High Republic Crash and Burn comic, as well as the Acolyte Kelnaka one-shot. So we're going to probably talk about all three, because that's doable. It's 2 one-shots and a video game. That'd be different than me going, hey, read a novel and play a video game. Right? God. That would be me being a jerk.
I'm like, what kind of bullshit is this?
So, yeah. So thank you, everybody, for watching today's episode of Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I've been your host, Caleb. Be sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe to us. You can find us at Escape Reality Films on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. You can also show your support for us by joining our Patreon, which is at Escape Reality Films. Shout out to Jennifer Brantley.
Yo.
There you can watch our YouTube content before it's publicly available. Also be sure to check out our Discord, which is also linked wherever you are watching, so you can become a part of our community. You can also find me on Twitter at Escape Reality 94 and Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Caleb.Lockwood. Seth, talk about some of our friends.
Some of our friends. You can catch them over on YouTube not Friday, every Sunday from 5 to 7 Central Standard Time, playing Trials of Naboo. It's a D&D 5e game. Man, Kiaria's almost murdered himself again.
So, that'll be interesting. Once again, thank you all for watching. Join us next week as we for sure will talk about Crash and Burn and the Acolyte Kelnaka comic. Maybe we'll talk about Outlaws. Right now it's a strong maybe, though. I think we'll end up talking about it, but just in case we don't, I do actually want you to play the story entirely for this one, but we'll see what happens. So, I have spoken.
Y'all be safe out there.